All right, everyone. So we have some news and announcements for Raid Shadow Legends, but this is definitely something that you might not be expecting, and that is that we do have confirmation that there are going to be nerfs coming to Tormin the Cold, who is, of course, the legendary Void Fusion champion that we have going on right now. This was posted in the official Raid Shadow Legends Discord server, and it is a community post by one of the community managers, Cirilla, reading, "Guys, as you know, Tormin the Cold was intended to introduce an alternative to the existing speed meta in PvP, but while he is doing an amazing job at that, we also realized that some of his skills may be a little too much. Now, we ourselves really like the champion, and we certainly would like to keep him unique, strong, and magical as a real Christmas character should be. That's why we would like to ask your opinion on what we could do to tweak Tormin so that he would remain great, but not too much." So this is what we were thinking of changing. Make his freeze activate only once per action. Right now it is triggered by every action in the skill description list. Or remove the heal part that now triggers freeze entirely from his passive skill. This is not yet set in stone, so we would really appreciate it if you could share your thoughts on the matter with us and help us improve this aspect of the game. Do you agree with the suggested changes, or would you like to add something else to the list? And that's an important one. I'll talk about why that's important. They included this in the actual post. Please share your comments in channel Tormin in-game discussion section. So they have a whole separate discussion section in the official Discord server that they are open to feedback. The channel will be open for 24 hours. I will set slow mode to 6 hours, so please try to accumulate your thoughts in one message. Thank you. I decided to include the reactions as well, just so you guys can get an understanding of so far. Even though this was only posted about an hour or so, guys, you can understand a little bit about how the community feels about this. So for those of you guys who might be a little bit out of the loop, this post has to do specifically with one ability that Tormin the Cold has that has been kind of found out to be insanely powerful, especially in the high tiers of Arena. And this ability is going to be his passive ability, Wintry Wind. Now, the actual effect has a 15% chance, which can be boosted to 25% with skill books, of placing a freeze debuff on the enemy each time they receive a buff, get healed, or have their turn meter filled. The 15% chance applies for each effect individually in cases where an enemy receives multiple of these effects at the same time. And of course, it also has an active effect, which is revives the champion to 100% HP when killed and places a freeze debuff on this champion for 1 turn. 8-turn cooldown on that, which can be lowered to 6 turns with skill books. But of course, the really insanely powerful, game-changing, meta-changing part of the skill has to do with the passive, and having a up to 25% chance of placing a freeze debuff every single time that a champion receives a buff, gets healed, or has their turn meter filled is absolutely insane. And these things happen a lot, especially with masteries and certain skills and abilities and effects. You know, champions are getting buffed, they're getting healed, and they're having their turn meter filled a whole lot. So having a 25% chance of getting frozen every single time one of those things happens, people have found out just how absolutely insane this is in the arena, and it is an absolute game changer. If you actually end up going to the arena list and you take a look at the top tiers of arena, you'll end up seeing here that in the top tiers of arena, everybody is going to end up having that champion, and you can see the list here. Pretty much everybody has it. It really is just such a big game changer that he's pretty much a must-have in all the teams at the top of the arena list. So, you know, there's a lot of problems with this though, and I know that in the actual community post they specifically said nothing is set in stone, but if you actually go back and you take a look at it, you'll see, do you agree with the suggested changes, or would you like to add something else to the list? So it's really much kind of down to, well, we're either going to go with one of these changes that we've proposed here, or we're going to add even more stuff to the list. So it's not really a question of if he's going to get nerfed, it's now a question of how much is he going to end up getting nerfed. Now, talking about his 2 actual suggestions, make his freeze activate only once per action. I want to say this was Hell Hades' suggestion. I think this was probably a pretty decent one, but it might be a little bit too late. And I'll talk about this in a second, but the fusion is now about halfway through. A lot of people have invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, and most importantly for a game like this, a lot of money into resources, into going for this fusion, and also into the actual champion itself with things like skill books. And people have kind of expected now, after the last week or so, for this champion to work a certain way. And now that they've invested these resources into this fusion and it's going to get changed, that's a really big problem, especially in a game like this where money is involved. When you end up having champions that do certain things and then you change them after people have put money into the game, well, that's a great way to make people incredibly unhappy. But going back to the actual proposed changes, make his freeze activate only once per action. The other one is remove the heal part that now triggers freeze entirely from his passive skill. I don't know if this is going to honestly end up being enough, because if you take a look at the passive again, you'll see that this freeze activates from either a buff, a heal, or a turn meter fill. If you end up just removing the heal, you still have the passive activating from buffs and turn meter fills, and those things still end up happening a lot over the course of a battle, especially an arena battle. So I still feel like it's going to activate a lot even if you remove the heal, but this champion is going to get nerfed. It's only a question now of how much it is. There going to be even more stuff that they add to the list? Are they going to go with one of their changes, or are they going to go with something else completely different? Now, there are a lot of problems, and I'll share with you guys my feedback. You guys, of course, are welcome to share your feedback as well. You guys are welcome to actually do what they suggested in the community post and leave it in the official Raid Shadow Legends Discord. Although, I'll be honest with you guys, Plarium has not been very well known for their incredibly positive reception of community feedback, so I can't promise that if even a bunch of you guys go and leave a ton of feedback that they're going to go with something that you guys say. But hey, that option is available. If you want to as well, you can leave your feedback in this video in the comment section as well. I will promise you guys that I will take some time out of my day to go through and read a lot of what you guys think about this. If you do have any kind of suggestions, I will go ahead and read those as well. Maybe I'll share my thoughts on what I feel like the community overall feels about this just through my YouTube video. But there are a lot of problems, and let's get into those. Now, I talked about them briefly, but obviously the fusion event takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of effort. There's a lot of events required in order to end up getting the champions for this fusion. And if you want to end up participating in these events and getting these champions, you have to invest in a lot of resources. Whether you bought those resources with money or whether you've just been saving them up for a really long time, either way, it's a big investment. And even to all of you guys who ended up having the actual champions for the fusion before running the events and you were able to fuse it on day one, that's still a bunch of champions that you've had before that now you had to sacrifice in order to fuse a champion that is now having his abilities changed that you didn't really know about until today. So, you know, this is obviously going to be upsetting to a lot of people, whether you spend money, whether you don't. Definitely a really difficult situation. Now, obviously, the money is the really big one, because once money is involved and you completely change the way a champion works, people feel like they are not getting what they paid for, and that is a whole big problem on its own. Let's not get into the books as well. Imagine if you ended up just getting this champion and now you just bought a bunch of legendary books in the store. I would never, ever in a million years recommend this, but you can buy legendary skill books in the actual shop for an absolutely ridiculous price of $25 each. Imagine if you're somebody who did that. You just put them into this champion and now they're completely changing the dynamic of his skill. Really a big problem. Once again, you know, people, they paid for something, they're expecting to get it, and then they get something completely different. It really is just the whole bait and switch type philosophy there, and that's obviously going to upset a lot of people. Now, the other thing as well, and one of the big problems that I've been reading already, even though this change has only been out there for about an hour or two, I've been reading a lot of comments on the Discord, the Raid Shadow Legends Reddit, other different social media, and I've been seeing that another big problem is there's so many champions in Raid Shadow Legends that need buffs that to straight go through and nerf a brand new champion that just got introduced through a all void fusion that is honestly relatively difficult. It takes a lot of resources. There's so much other stuff that needs to be done in the game, so many other champions that need work, and then they immediately jump to nerfing this champion. I think a lot of people are upset about that, especially to a lot of people who have a bunch of legendary champion Vault Guardians, and those are going to be a bunch of legendaries that just don't really do that much. They need serious reworks, you know, big problem for that. And this whole thing just comes across as a major bait and switch. People feel like they were getting something, and now they're getting something else. And that's obviously a great way to dissatisfy a large percentage of your community. Now, what are some thoughts about this for me personally? Well, of course, as usual, Plarium is approaching this in a not so great way. They have, I think, rushed this decision, and they didn't really think about a good way to actually announce this. I feel like they could have still ended up doing something very similar to this and proposing nerfs and the exact same things that they even outlined in the actual community post. But the thing is, this would have been an actual amazing opportunity to announce that they're going to be doing more champion reworks. Maybe they're going to be buffing some other legendaries. Great time to say, hey, we're going to be reworking Tormin, but we're also going to be reworking a bunch of champions that we haven't really seen a lot of play. So here's a list of some legendary champions that are also going to get reworks at the same time as Tormin. I think that would have definitely lowered the blow to the community a lot, because there are just so many legendary champions in Raid that are not up to par, and who knows if and when those champions are going to end up getting buffed. Now, as I've highlighted, a big theme in this video, money is involved, which makes this a huge problem for a lot of people. When you pay for something and you get something completely different, that's a massive problem, and I can definitely see how this is going to lead to some major outrage among people who are big spenders who expected to get something out of Torment, and now they're going to get something completely different. So obviously my thoughts and opinions are not going to be as strong as a top tier arena player. You guys know I am, I'm obviously not at the top of the top in pretty much any aspect of the game. I play a decent amount, but I'm definitely not a top tier player. I'm not a top tier arena player. That is 100%. So my thoughts and opinions are definitely not going to be quite as strong as somebody who is a top tier arena competitor, because obviously when you are not in the top tier of arena, there's always going to be battles that you can face. You don't need to have specific champions. You can always find easier stuff, so you don't need certain champions. Now, when you're at the top, if you want to compete for the top, you really kind of need to compete with all the other people at the top, and you're probably going to need certain champions that fit the meta. But for somebody who this is not as big of an issue for, my thoughts and opinions are not quite as strong. But definitely keep an ear, listen to people whose thoughts and opinions are those kind of people who are going to be in the higher brackets of arena, because that's going to really affect their gameplay quite a bit more so than it would for me. Now, with that all being said, there are a couple of other really little things. That's everything Torment related. A couple little other announcements and updates, especially to the video yesterday about the Amazon promotion. I failed to mention in the video that the champions, I did say that they are free, and there is an Amazon promotion that is going on. Those of you guys who watched the video yesterday, you're probably very well aware of that. Lots of free goodies and tons of stuff coming up over the next couple of months. But if you do want to end up getting this stuff for free and you don't have Amazon Prime, you can actually use the 30-day free trial. I have been getting confirmations from tons of people that the free trial does work for the Raid Shadow Legends promotion. So if you don't have Prime, if you don't want to spend money, you could sign up for the free trial and still end up getting a large number of the actual rewards. Now, I would suggest waiting off until closer to the end of December so you could min-max your free trial, and so the full 30 days could end up getting you as many rewards as it possibly can be, because what you can do is you can end up using your free trial on the last day or two of the first set of rewards, and then you can end up getting I think it's, what would that be, 3 or 4 sets of rewards instead of just 2 or 3. So make sure you wait if you do decide to go down this route. Make sure you wait until then. Now, the other thing is they did mention that there are some promo issues with people on their phones not actually being able to redeem it properly. I had this issue actually, which is why I recommended using BlueStacks, is because I tried to log into my Amazon account and verify it for the promotion through my phone, and I was having authentication issues with my actual Amazon account. So they did mention that they're working on this. It should work. You can end up just downloading the Amazon app, and that should actually get you logged in and set up through the promotion through your phone. But once again, if you guys are having difficulties, you won't be able to access the promotion at all on Plarium Play. So you guys can see here, yesterday the video had that Amazon Prime promotion icon right here at the bottom, but on Plarium Play it does not show this. So your options are you can use mobile. If you're having those issues, you could download the Amazon app, get signed in through that so you don't have those authentication issues. Or if you want to, if you have a PC, again, I'll leave a link to the BlueStacks in the description and in the comments, and you guys can end up signing up for the promotion through that link as well. So with that all being said, that is going to end up being it for the video today. Once again, let me know how you guys feel about the Tormin nerfs. I'm really interested in your guys' feedback, so feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel, of course. Thank you to all of you guys who do so. If you want to help out, tossing a quick like means a whole bunch, so thanks once again to those of you guys who do that. And of course, more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, and all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now. Almost 100 Raid Shadow Legends videos in the playlist on the channel, and more coming soon. Have a great day, everyone. Take care, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.